Hi, it's Lana. This piece is called Radiance Reflections, and I would really appreciate having this opportunity with you to share transparently in a longer way than my Truthful Tuesdays. Aspects of my own personal journey. I've been teaching yoga for 17 years now. I've been a holistic life coach for 14. So throughout the circle of people I spend time with, or clients and students that come through my life, there are questions around how I've worked through difficult aspects of my life, journeys. I like to call them rites of passage or initiations. And so for today, what feels really important for me to speak to is this idea of living and leading from our hearts. And so the heart, as we know, is much more emotionally based, and it can work for us, and sometimes if we're too emotionally driven, it can work against us when it comes to making decisions. Ultimately, the art is in learning how to merge the wisdom of the heart mind with right action. So what do I mean by that? Well, when we are leading by our very pragmatic brain, quite often we miss the essence of something that might be nudging us, drawing our attention, calling us to maybe looking in another direction at another possibility, another option than what we are considering as the only option. And so if we can trust that by operating from the heart and the wisdom of the heart, we might find that element that we often miss in life, which is the joy, the delight, the ability to feel as though we are on purpose. And the concept of purpose can be elusive as well, because I truly believe I am in a shade of what my life's purpose is, or my soul's purpose. But I also believe that this is going to be a constant unfolding. It is as though, your parents come together and conceive you, and then there's this gestation period. And then we are formed, and then we are birthed. For me, the concept of purpose is similar in that we are being in this gestation throughout our life. We are being formed, and then we birth. And maybe the birthing is when we die and transition from this physical form. So the idea of purpose isn't necessarily about getting somewhere. That at least is my own personal observation and how I'm learning to be more graceful with how I'm showing up in the world, and not wanting to get too wrapped up into this burden of what is my life's purpose. I don't know that there's one. However, leading and living by the heart wisdom, for me, gives me a spaciousness. It gives me a bit more delight. It gives me a lightness. It gives me a feeling of gratitude and awe and wonder and the magic, the mystical of life. It is the what else is possible? What can I be grateful for next? Who am I going to meet? What am I going to hear from them? What direction am I going to go down today? When I am listening to my heart wisdom and then taking right action, so doing, based on what I'm sensing, feeling, intuiting, I feel more aligned. I feel more grounded. I feel more vulnerable and trusting and allowing and accepting. I am in more of a relationship with surrender. Surrendering to the unknown, which I've been speaking about this week. And having a bit more room for the unknown to blossom and unfold, just like a flower would, or leaves in the springtime do, right? The grass grows at the grass's pace. We unfold at the pace we're meant to unfold. And the human part of us, or that left brain part of us, wants it now. We want to have a timeline. We want it structured. Well, it doesn't work that way. So what I would encourage you to try on is really and truly what moves you, what inspires you. And it might have absolutely nothing at all to do with what you're doing right now. And that's okay. Don't try to marry it into your professional life and how you're going to show up and make money, or how you're going to monopolize this joy. But rather, align with the joy and the wisdom of your heart, and let that lead you towards greater fulfillment. That spaciousness, that lightness that I'm talking about. Otherwise, and for myself, I'll speak about where I'm at right now. I know for certain my ground is shaky right now. I feel very stable. But there is a shift going on. It's almost like when an earthquake happens. You know, you can feel the tremors. Depending how high on the Richter scale that earthquake is, you're either going to get dropped to your knees, or you're going to get swallowed up by the ground, right? So if I am allowing myself to be led from a place of loving kindness, which is the heart mind, I can move more fluidly with this instability of my ground, my foundation. My foundation being holistic life coaching and yoga for such a long period of my adult life is shifting. I don't quite know what that looks like and how I'm going to continue to do that, if I'm continuing to do that. Many of you know that even my being in Sudbury and living in Sudbury has never fully resonated with me. I have the most delightful, magical beings in my life, and deep, deep friendships. And I love that. However, there's a vibrational energy in Sudbury that doesn't necessarily inspire me and allow me to feel like I'm thriving. So am I staying in Sudbury? Am I going to be here only part-time? I have no idea. If I allow these unknowns to only be accessed and contemplated through my brain, I can feel immediately the stress reaction in my body and this contraction and this tightening up. That is not serving me, because it's like taking a water hose and we bend the hose and we stop the flow from happening. When we open up the heart, and from a chakra perspective, this is the gateway. You know, this is the gateway into the love, to the unknown, to the divine, to the magical and mystical, the higher mind, the consciousness that is the overseer, that part of us that knows what's going on in this life here that we're in, rather than the survival, the instinctual, the very human part of us that is driven. I am not interested in contracting. I am not interested in blocking my potential or my flow. What I know is I know shit. I really do. You know, I know a lot of things, but I ultimately don't have a clue what is going to be the best use of me in this world. And I am open to the possibility that it might be something completely unlike what I'm doing right now. And I might be brought anywhere in the world. And that's okay, because I trust that I'm adaptable. I trust that I'm guided and I'm supported. I've done the work, you know, and I continue to do the work. And an aspect of that work that brings me into my heart is creating these impromptu videos for the rest of you to bear witness to and maybe receive from in some capacity. I'll tell you, it's definitely not because I enjoy doing videos. With a photography background, I'm usually the one on the other side of the camera. So this is a total act of service and trust in the intuitive hit as it's coming through to transmit a message. So please, please, as we enter into this really important juncture of this eclipse that we've got coming on the 8th, please get real with what moves your heart, what activates you, what inspires and ignites you. We're quite deadened beings. We have desensitized so much to our detriment that we've forgotten how beautiful and pure and inspiring it is to live from our hearts and to see the beauty, to be the beauty, to receive it, to share it, share our light, share our radiance. I would love to hear what's coming up for you, and if you have anything that, you would like support with, maybe you would like some encouragement, I'd love to offer you that. So you can drop a little post down below if you'd like, and I will do my best to have your back and have your heart with great care and great respect, because this is not an easy path. Surrendering into the unknown and getting comfortable with shaky ground as our lives transform takes a lot of courage. And yet, as Brené Brown so beautifully and eloquently expresses, vulnerability is our greatest asset, and it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable, and you can't have courage without vulnerability. So much love, and if you want to find out more, lanaboyack.com. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.